Evening, everybody. Icy here. Let's bring up a couple of things. I watched on the news today, and I'm surprised it was on Fox, but Biden was having a meeting with Harris, Mayorkas, the head of the U.S. Coast Guard, talking about their being ready and all prepared for everything for this hurricane coming in. And it struck me as funny because the Fox commentator said this is a very rare occurrence. So it makes me think, okay, Harris is totally screwing up out there trying to, run her campaign, with her word salad answers to questions. She can't even use the word yes or no. She doesn't know how. And she can't give an intelligent answer to anything. So this appears to be a publicity stunt in my eyes to make Harris look presidential. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. It don't work. So we got Joe, who's a mental case, bragging about misinformation while he dishes out misinformation. We got Harris talking about misinformation while God knows what she's trying to do, but it's misinformation. She claims that she carries a Glock or has a Glock at home. Okay, well, here's a catch-22 situation. She has a Glock. A Glock is a semi-automatic weapon. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon. There's no difference except one's got a longer barrel than the other. They both fire, projectiles. So, is she going to outlaw Glocks when she goes for the AR-15 since they're both semi-automatic? Or is it a double standard and what's good for me is okay and you can't have it because you're not allowed? So, you got to think about that one. Now, Mayorkas. Mayorkas is there, talking, say how we're all ready and everything else. Mayorkas, you haven't been there for 4 years, so what are you talking about? Yeah, you're ready, all right. You're ready to let more illegals in. You're ready to take funds from FEMA, which is put aside for Americans to be used, and you want to use them further for your projects dealing with the illegals. Now, I know that the Biden administration is saying it never happened. Go back to, I think it was October, November of 2022 when Karine Jean-Pierre was talking about how they were using FEMA funds to deal with the migrant crisis at the time. And then just this year alone, she said, we have never used it. So on video, press secretary openly stating lies to the American people. And nobody says nothing about it. So, I don't believe anything that woman says. Now, so we got KJP lying. We've got Biden lying. We got Mayorkas lying. We got Harris lying. I don't know anything about this Coast Guard commander. But the Coast Guard is, they've always been around, so you can ignore the commander if you're, senior NCO or an officer that knows what in the hell you're talking about and what you're doing because you've been doing it for a while. So it's a point. But the fact remains is that they mysteriously had this televised, conference. And it's never happened before. Maybe rare. So let's say this is the first time in, a couple of decades? So somebody is really afraid of Harris losing because this dog and pony show that they put on today is all to make Harris look good, make her look presidential. Nope, ain't going to happen. No way in hell. All right, now let's talk about the hurricane. I commented about people down in Florida that have lived their entire lives down there, saying that they suspected that it might be a man-made event. It could be, it couldn't be. I don't know, honestly. I'm just, talking, about what they think. And the reason why they say that is the timing involved. The hit just before the election to make it harder for people to vote, especially in Florida, since Florida is mostly Republican. So I can understand why they voiced their concern about that issue. So nothing else I could do about that. But it's a valid concern on their part. Me, I'm in New York, so who cares? All right, I'm stuck with what's her face, Kathy Hochul, and the overabundance of Democrats in New York City, which is 8 Democrats for every 1 Republican. But I heard some good news. I heard that former President Trump is going to be holding a rally in New York City. He has contracted to use Madison Square Garden. And I pray that the New Yorkers pull their heads out of their butts and vote Republican. Because let's face it, when Rudy Giuliani was the mayor of New York City was safe. The people were happy. The people were prosperous. You didn't have any issues. You get Bloomberg in there, it was like, eh. And then you got, what's his face, Bill de Blasio. De Blasio is the mayor of New York City. $850 million went missing. One of the AGs pointed it out, and he spoke to the district attorney at the time, who was Letitia James, and said, no, it's not really missing, it's just misplaced, let's not worry about it. And then, shortly after that, Letitia James has the funds to run for and win Attorney General for New York State. And Alvin Bragg, who was her subordinate, moves up to being the DA of New York City. Plus, he winds up being a multimillionaire on top of that, on a, $160,000 a year salary in New York City. Why is it that Democrats always wind up becoming multimillionaires once they get into politics? It's very confusing for the average person. The union leader for the longshoremen that was in charge of all the union members in New Jersey, his paycheck for last year was $900,000. Elon Musk commented that the guy had more yachts than he did. So, little something for everybody to think about before you go and vote. And that's less than 30 days away. Democrats get into politics and become millionaires and forget about the promises they make to the people, because their promises are pointless because they focus on what the lobbyists want and their fellow politicians want to maintain power and control over the people. It's not me, saying it. I'm just pointing it out. It's a simple fact of life. Politicians get rich becoming politicians. If we want to stop this, we got to vote President Trump back into office. We need to demand term limits on all these politicians. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, Independent, term limits. You cannot allow lobbyists to have influence over these politicians either, so you need to outlaw lobbyists. It's the only way you're going to fix the country, honestly. You got to start making the hard choices and do it now before it's too late, or else we're going to be another Russia or China and have a one-party rule and have no voice. I see out.